We have powerful storms hitting for tonight, some nocturnal storms. Matter of fact, we have some strong storms hitting right now. I will go through, plus what comes for tomorrow. They did put those upgrades I told you about this morning in the outlooks. Plus what's going on in the tropics right around the corner is still looking very concerning, everyone. So I'm going to go through the latest information in this video, what you can expect around the corner from this weather pattern. Starting with right now, we do have a lot of storms going through for Indiana, Ohio, going through West Virginia, North Carolina, even some of South Carolina, Pennsylvania, for New Jersey. And all of these storm cells that you are looking at is bringing problems, bringing some damage and winds over here in Indiana. Also over here for Ohio, moving through West Virginia. Also over here for North Carolina, bringing a lot of strong storms with a lot of damage and winds with that line of storms and a lot of severe storms coming through. This is going to last a few more hours. Doing the same thing for Virginia, going across Delmarva. Look at all the lightning strikes happening right now. I hope everybody is inside and safe away from these storms. A lot of severe weather happening for right now. For tonight, we also have this enhanced feature. We did get a significant severe on the winds. Also, some large hail expected for tomorrow as well. So I'm going to show you the latest information in this video right now, what's about to happen with this weather for the rest of the evening. It is bringing some very strong storms and some very strong winds. And you can see the upgrade that they did put in, everyone. Even our tornadoes, more confidence of tornadoes in this 5% that was added. So here's your cities and states at risk for a tornado threat for tonight, all the way to the early morning hours. Also, your wind threat has gone up with a big 30% section right there as well, where you can see anywhere from 65 to 75 miles per hour wind gusts, maybe even isolated a little bit higher up to 80. Also, the 15% they added for Virginia going across the Delmarva. So here's your cities and states at risk for damage and winds for the rest of tonight. Plus the hail threat, they did add significant severe in this black hatched area right here. Chances for 2 inches or greater hail, and the 15% has been extended. So here's your cities and states at risk for the hail threat for tonight, also going overnight. Now we're going to go through the model run real quick, but I'm going to show you the impacts with the winds, but then we're going to go back and zoom in with the software so we can see what cities, what time, more than likely these storms are passing by. And you can see these storms going all even along still for West Virginia, going across Delmarva all the way towards New Jersey, all the way towards 7 p.m. And it's going to stay there all even along, pushing off far northeastern North Carolina, all the way towards 9:30, almost 10 p.m. While you get this group of storms that forms up for this evening for South Dakota, for Minnesota, and going towards the east, bringing large hail with those cells. And as it goes further towards 10, 11 o'clock at night, now it starts turning into some damage and winds on both sections. You see how the Bowen line feature, while this goes into Canada, bringing you damage and winds as well. That's a big Bowen line feature right there going into Canada. And then once you go past midnight, it starts shooting southward. Starts going down western Wisconsin, southern Minnesota, into Iowa by early in the morning, bringing damage and winds with that line of storms all the way to northern Illinois. Still showing anywhere from 60 to 70, even 80 miles per hour wind gusts. The max is still showing 100, which you always tone it down a little bit. But you can see what these storms are going to do. So initially, as you go early into the evening, all the way to about 10:30, 11 o'clock, this is where the strongest winds show across Minnesota, eastern South Dakota. Now that's with these storm cells that are passing by as that brews up through the evening. You can see how dense all that precipitation is in that line of thunderstorms right there. That's going to be some strong storms moving across Minnesota. Be aware of that. It is going to bring a lot of winds. And as it comes across for early in the morning, from midnight on, for Wisconsin, southern Minnesota, going through Iowa, this is bringing the damage and winds with this as well. All the way down, 50 and 60 miles per hour wind gusts, maybe isolated more. But look how that spreads out, almost like a derecho. So for tomorrow, they did add a big slight risk feature now added to it. Even our tornado threat has stretched a little bit further into Minnesota. So here's your cities and states at risk for a chance for a tornado for tomorrow, for Monday. Also the winds for tomorrow. They did add that significant severe as well. This is bringing wind gusts anywhere from 70 to 75 miles per hour plus. Plus you have the 15% section and the 5% for damage and winds. So here's your cities and states at risk for potential damage and winds for tomorrow, for Monday. And the hail as well. They did add that big slight risk going all the way towards Montana. So here's your cities and states at risk for a hail threat for tomorrow, for Monday. Showing that the wind gusts could go all the way up towards 85 miles per hour as intense gusts go across for eastern South Dakota into southern Minnesota. Now, so far for Tuesday, they still only have that 5%. We will see if this upgrades again. And you can see the latest update right here. As we go 4 to 5 days, we're going to have a wave that's going to be shooting northward. Now, usually when they go northward, they get pulled around this high pressure, but if they get expanding high pressure, it could be an issue. So as we go from 5 to 6 days to 7 days, you can see how it starts curving, and now it's starting to get where it gets out towards that turning point. It's either going to go to the west or it's going to get pulled around the high pressure once we go 7, 8 days, 9 days, favoring a little further towards the west. Now, while we have a lot of convection along the east coast, this front coming through is bringing a lot of convection, a lot of lift, a lot of storms. Now, this could be a good thing. This could push things away, but it could also pull things in. As we go 9, 10 days, still sitting there trying to figure out what's going on with that wave, and potentially more coming behind that. Showing that even though we have dust, the dust is going to start lightening up as we go into August. That's usually what happens. Showing this is going to be the trend for August, everyone. It's what it's looking like. Like, we're going to have this big high pressure. Sometimes it's going to be back here. Occasionally it's going to expand. So we're going to see storms going in this direction. We're also going to see them expand into this direction. Now look at this when you look at the pattern. All the way to August 4th, showing it going all the way forward. Past that, you can see it right there. This is where we have our front coming through, bringing possible convection over here in the northern Gulf. Still showing a low chance something can form off of that, but that could be a catalyst to what forms over here along the east coast, showing something can form there as well. And this is right where this wave is starting to form. But for the pattern, you can see the pattern we're going into. So as we go deeper in August, past 11th towards 18th, we can see more of this, even maybe pulling more into the Gulf region where the high pressure will expand. We go even further, we're going to see more of this, and maybe even some turning early. You see that right here? This is because a high pressure going back towards Azores. So we're going to have two different paths through August. We're going to have fish storms. We're going to have storms going towards the East Coast, and occasionally we're going to get them going towards the Gulf. And these AI models will not let this wave go, everyone. So you can see the pattern we're going into. As we go towards August 2nd, this wave coming through, this is an open wave, passing through. You can see the open wave. So as we go further, you can see that going further towards the west, getting steered around the high pressure. Now, the high pressure starts weakening down, and you'll see this going towards the high pressure a little bit right there. It thinks about going towards the high pressure a little bit, but then it expands out. You see where it's at? Watch how it expands out and pushes that wave, keeps pushing it to the west the whole time, and it gets it in the Gulf. This is run after run for today, and showing, of course, a scary scenario because the Gulf is very warm waters. There's a lot of twists and turns before we even get to that part. So we're going to take this one step at a time. It's been shown that it's either going to turn or push as we go 8, maybe towards 9 days away. So we're still at right around 8 days where this is either going to turn around from that weakening high or it's going to push it further towards the west. The Canadian model is seeing this path a little bit as well, confirming it should start off rather weak, and there's going to be moments of intensification where it's going to try and strengthen up, fighting with this dust, but it's seeing that path. In fact, the ensemble shows that it's really going to explode once it gets away from the Lesser Antilles, and this is where it really grows in its members, where it shows it gets away from the dust goes in the Caribbean, and it moves away from it. So it shows it starts growing, and more than likely will become that tropical storm, getting pushed to the west by this high pressure. And you can see all of these tracks. They're going right into the Gulf, right along the coast, right into the East Coast very far. We even have a few that could be a fish storm. You see how it keeps it rather close, but still that would be a fish storm. It would be close and very intense to watch the whole time. Now the average right now is showing that it will be this one right here, going right along the coast of Florida towards Georgia, South Carolina as a Cat 1 hurricane. Now take this in mind. This is an ensemble run, and remember there's a lot of twists and turns to get to this. So we're just going to keep updating, and we're going to take it one step at a time and make sure we get each twist and turn, because it could dramatically change. But you can also see how many now is agreeing to this westward turn into the Gulf. You see that? Even some show it can get pushed by the high pressure and get pushed back into the Caribbean, where it could be issues over there by the Yucatan, which we do have people over there asking how the weather's going to be around this time. So you can see the majority of these up here on the top right, showing that a big ensemble of them shows a Cat 1 to a Cat 3 or more hurricane strength could start growing quickly from this. Now, when you go by the weather next generation, it's agreeing as well that the ensembles start waking up right here, and they all are starting to see this westward push into the Gulf. They have a few that do show that it could weaken back down, come right back around and be a fish storm, just be very intense, coming towards you and then turning. So this one right here is going to be a lot of forecasting. You're going to see a lot of different cones coming with this wave, I do believe. And my last graphic before we go zoom in for the severe weather for the rest of the evening and overnight, that way you're not caught off guard. You can see right here for the new ensembles with the AI as we go 7 days, showing that weak wave. Some show it a little further, but you can see a weak wave propagating out there in the Atlantic, not doing any threats, nothing going on, while we have our front coming across the East Coast, bringing some chances for an upper level low in the Gulf or the Southeast to form. So these two together is what's bringing a big problem of what could happen. As we go forward, this is the first 25. You can see that it starts bringing a chance along the coast for something to grow. Also, what grows in the Atlantic will get pretty intense and go towards the west on a lot of these. You see a lot of these going towards the west now, even into the Gulf. You see all that? A lot more than earlier. Now, I'd like to note that there are a few of them that shows this right here, that it'd be very weak, still have problems dealing with the high pressure, and maybe it'll form out here in the Atlantic and get that legitimate fish storm out there. There's a few that show that. But we're starting to see more of that westward track in these ensembles. You can even see with the other 25 showing the same thing. It will propagate weak. So that's the trend. It will be weak until it gets around the Lesser Antilles. But then it'll get away from this dust more than likely and start strengthening up and going towards the west. You see that? A lot of these ensembles show that now. What it didn't show earlier, that this could strengthen up and go towards the west. Now we still have a few that shows it is strengthening up in the Atlantic and go right up the coast, and probably not an issue. But at the same time, you can see it's getting a front-induced low right here, and that could give shear to this system as well. These two right here could do a Fujiwara effect. It's still down the road. We still have to go closer and closer to get the forecast of what the outcome more likely will be. All we can do is take it baby steps. What we're seeing is once it gets past the Lesser Antilles, it potentially will start intensifying, and then we'll see a westward push. How far of a westward push, really can't say yet. A lot of them is showing more ensembles going into the Gulf, going towards the southeast, towards the East Coast. We still have a few that says this high pressure will weaken down and it'll go back into the Atlantic. We will see what tomorrow brings. As of making this video right now, National Hurricane Center does not have anything in the next 7 days. Now for the rest of the evening, let's see what HRRR is looking at. And remember, this is Central Time up here above my head, showing as we go by 6 p.m. that we still have some strong hail cores coming through for Virginia, coming from West Virginia, even southern Pennsylvania. You even have some along the coast of New Jersey, maybe a little bit for Connecticut, even for Long Island. Also over here along the coast for North Carolina, some strong cells moving through. Look like they're stronger right here for Virginia. Look at those hail cores on those storms that's moving through. So you're going to have some strong storms all the way towards 6. As we go towards 7, still moving towards the east, towards Virginia the strongest. Towards 8, they're really consolidating very strong towards southeastern Virginia. Bringing a lot of strong hail cores all the way towards 8 o'clock tonight. Be aware of this, please. 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock, really turn into a big cluster, then it weakens down, and that was it for the rest of the night. So it's going to have an intense moment with all this intense heat, really giving it a lot of lift. Now these storms building up for tonight, showing it's going to start getting some good hail cores as you go by 6 or 6:30 for this evening, moving through central Minnesota at first, and look how it builds from South Dakota coming towards Minnesota as you go through 8 o'clock. A lot of hail cores in there showing chances for large hail all the way towards 9, all the way towards 10 and 11 o'clock. Looking so far like it's moving a little southern of Minneapolis for this evening for the storms, but it will grow. This is what we're looking at so far as you go towards 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, starts making that southern trend. Bring a lot of large hail with that. So please be aware if you're in southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. This is very strong hail cores in here. Chances for tornadoes as well. But this is where it's bringing a lot of damage and winds overnight. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. Still going through for Iowa, southern Wisconsin, even a piece for Illinois early into the morning. Starting to go on a weakening trend, but it's still bringing some storms, still bringing some hail with them as well as that comes through. Thank you for your time, everybody. I hope this evening update has helped you in some way. If it has, think of others. Hit that share button down below. Put this on other platforms. Let them see it. Thank you again so much for your help. I was hoping to bring you some good news, but it's not looking that way, everybody. I will see you first thing in the morning, and we'll see what the latest updates are in the tropics as well. And before I go, a quick word from our Father, everyone. Psalm 31, 1 through 3. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be ashamed. Deliver me in thy righteousness. Bow down thine ear to me, deliver me speedily. Be thou my strong rock, for an house of defense to save me. For thou art my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for thy name's sake, lead me and guide me. Amen. Have a great evening, everyone. Be aware of these storms. Once again, we are not at warning stage. We are still at watch stage in the tropics. Keep your head alert for the Gulf, also for the East Coast. Something tricky could come out of this tropical wave, everyone. I will keep you updated. Remember, all glory does go to God, our Father in heaven, Yahweh. And I always hope he keeps you safe every single day of your life, especially for tonight and forever. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Have a great night, everyone. Be safe in these storms.